Hi folks, welcome to or welcome back to Exposed, and if I'm welcoming you back and you like it here, I'd love it if you stayed and subbed. I did that video the other day by Kay Harms or whatever her name is, the frumpy one, and someone suggested I do the how to dress appropriately over 50 or at any age. So, should we jump in? It's only just under 12 minutes long, so it shouldn't take forever.
Is that really appropriate? Well, today we're going to talk about how to dress appropriately over 50.
And there's another one showing her camel. And a preacher's wife to boot. Who missed the leggings memo? You don't wear short tops with leggings. I'm sorry. I don't care who you are or what size you are. Isn't this how everyone's dressing anyway? Who died and put these women in charge for them to come out and tell us we're frumpy, wearing horrible shoes, and don't wear that, wear this? I'm glad I didn't grow up in this time. Do you know what I mean? I feel sorry for kids now with Instagram and YouTube and TikTok and God knows what else, and a million and one people telling them, oh, you can't go out looking like that, instead of just having their dad or their gran shouting at them, put some trousers on. Where's your coat? I need gloves in this room, never mind gloves going out. Anywho.
Welcome to today's video. I have either stepped in something I should have stayed away from, or I've come across something really big. You be the determiner of that. But today, indeed, we are going to talk about how to dress appropriately. Yes, over 50, but really at any age. I think we all need to be dressing appropriately, but those of us who are over 50, I think maybe we care a little bit more.
Yeah, so why have you got a short tank top on with tight leggings showing your camel, Mrs. Preacher's wife?
But don't go anywhere and don't get all riled up because see where I'm going with this first. I think I'm going to take you somewhere that you're going to like. Hello, my name is Kay, and this is Dress for My Day. And today we're taking it one step further and talking about getting dressed for our day appropriately. So be sure to check out down below in the description box. I'll have links to anything that...
Oh yeah, can't forget all the links she's got down below. And what I didn't know and I've learned since the last video as well, she's another one with that like to know it thing. So it makes sense how they all came back from the conference and everyone and their grandmother did a frumpy video. Can they never have an idea of their own?
That I might show that might be available. I don't know what that would be, but I also have links to my blog, my Instagram account, my Facebook group, all those sorts of things. And if you want to connect with me more, I hope you'll do that. I also hope you'll subscribe to my channel before you leave if you haven't done that already, and give me a thumbs up if you enjoy this tiptoe into this scary territory here, because talking about appropriateness can indeed be scary. In fact, maybe you're scared right now. I don't know.
Scared?
Here we go. First, we're going to go...
Hello, what am I supposed to be scared of? The appropriate police. What are we supposed to be scared of? Nobody tells me what to wear, not even my husband. If I want to go out with a paper bag on my head and nothing but a nighttime undies, who's going to stop me? Nobody. But it would be nice if the woman telling us how to dress appropriately actually dressed appropriately.
Way on back to my children's childhood. When we were raising our kids, one of the catchwords that became so common in my home was the word appropriate. I would ask my kids, is that an appropriate television show for you to be watching? Or I'd say to my kids, is that appropriate for you to be wearing? Or is that an appropriate way for you to talk to your dad? I'm sure you did the same thing. And they would even turn that question on me and my husband. They would say something like, Mom, Dad, is that really appropriate for you to be sitting that close? Or is it appropriate for you to be watching this movie? So, what did we mean when we asked
Oh, you sounded like you were a bundle of fun. No, what? No, okay. Whatever.
each other, is this appropriate? What we were really asking each other is this a wise choice? And you know, when we talk about dressing appropriately, we're not talking about abiding by some arbitrary set of rules. We're talking about dressing wisely. And I'm all for that. So, how do you do that? Well, to do anything wisely, you have to take the big picture into account. We want to step back, look at the big picture, make some calculations, and then make a wise choice. So I have 9 things for us to consider when we're getting dressed so that we can indeed dress appropriately. And it's not going to be nearly as scary as you might think.
I'm sorry, what is your core audience? Who's scared of getting dressed, apart from Lisa? Do these people actually exist? They move among us. God help us all.
The first thing we might want to consider when we want to dress appropriately is the culture. And by the culture, I mean the culture, the subculture that you're going to be in for that particular day or that event. So the culture perhaps of your workplace, the culture of your church where you gather to worship, the culture of your community or even of your region of the country.
Don't people know this already? You're preaching to the choir, preacher's wife.
What is the culture? What is the norm? How do people normally dress for this place and time? The second wise thing to consider is the event or occasion. Of course, we want to be appropriately dressed for things like a wedding, a funeral, a job interview, a corporate meeting, a women's retreat, a baby shower, a wedding shower, all of those events in life. We just simply need to consider the event. Third, we want to consider the location. That can be as narrowed down as, is this held at a church or is this held at a hotel? Or we could talk location as in, is this held in the Pacific Northwest? Or are we in the Deep South? Or are we in New England? Location is going to factor into our appropriate dress.
I thought she was saying in her frumpy video not to curl your hair under. Wasn't that one of the frumpy things?
Of course, some events and places even have their own dress code. So of course we want to consider a stated or written or even understood dress code. So perhaps a restaurant has a dress code, or you may receive an invitation with a dress code. The next wise consideration, of course, would be weather. Will we be out in the climate? Will we be inside? Will it be air?
I'm sorry. I know you're trying to be helpful, but people do this without thinking. Where am I going? Is it cold? Is there a lot of walking? Can I wear high heels? Should I wear flats? Do I need a scarf? Done. Bam. Out the door. Why do they make it sound like it's such a laborious job to get dressed of a morning?
Air conditioned? Will it be warm? Will it be snowing? What will the weather?
I think this is just an excuse to post lots of pictures of herself. They're all the same, aren't they?
Be like. The next indicator that we need to take into account for appropriateness is the region of the country. You've probably noticed, if you've done any traveling, that indeed people in different regions of the country do dress differently. I noticed in the Pacific Northwest that people wear a lot of black and gray and brown and dark navy. People in the South wear a lot of soft colors. People in Arizona and probably even California wear a lot of bold colors, sunny colors. People
I haven't seen Lardy then. She only dresses in black in Arizona.
dress differently in different regions. The next thing that we want to take into consideration is indeed our age. Now,
I knew this was coming.
and I, we don't have to, go by some kind of arbitrary rules, some kind of cutoff, like at certain ages you have to stop wearing things. But I do think that as we get older, most of us come to terms with the fact there are some things that we have simply aged out of, maybe by our own choice, not something that somebody has put on us. For instance, I don't feel as comfortable with shorts anymore as much as I used to, and I don't even feel as comfortable in sleeveless shirts as I used to. Does it mean I can't wear those? No, but the truth is I do take my age into consideration.
Well, that's just miserable. Who says you're not allowed to wear shorts? Put a bit of fake tan on your legs if you've got varicose veins or whatever. Nobody's... Oh, I'm 50 now. I've hit the menopause. My life has ended. I should be wearing a Hessian bag tied in the middle and never show my face in the outside world again. Leave it to the young uns. That's the message I'm getting from all of these people. It's like your life stops at 50.
And the eighth thing that we want to take into consideration is the activity. Boy, activity is so important. Will you be sitting and listening, or will you be on the stage presenting? Will you be hiking? Will you be sitting at a party and unwrapping presents? Will you be taking a walk at some time during the event? Will you be doing a lot of walking at the conference? Will you be going out to dinner? Will you be playing putt-putt golf afterwards? All of those sorts of things, activity really factors into appropriateness. Now, those are 8 factors that we do need to consider, but there is actually one more thing that we need to factor into the equation in order to truly dress appropriately, and that is, what is your role in the situation? What will you be doing? Not just the general activity that's going on, but what is your role in this place?
I think if your role is the bride, you'll have your clothes picked out way in advance.
For instance, will you be presenting? Will you be leading? Will you be speaking? Will you be teaching? Will you be administrating? If you're doing anything that puts you in the limelight or puts you in a place of authority, then you cannot ignore this final factor, because how you dress will definitely set you apart. In fact, it needs to set you apart from the crowd. On the other hand, it's also equally important to determine, am I supposed to be sitting and listening? Am I the one who is supposed to be sitting and taking something in, and I'm not supposed to be in the spotlight? For instance, you're going to a wedding and you are not the bride, or you're going to a birthday party for girlfriends, but it's not your birthday. So it is important to take into consideration your role in the situation.
Oh, does she have a problem with that? She forgets when she goes to other people's birthday that it's not her birthday. I think we all know how do people cope without Kay and Lisa and Marnie and Erin and all the others telling them how to dress for a day? How do they do it? I'd just go around nude all the time because I hadn't heard of these people.
That you're going into. Now, these are 9 factors altogether, but how do you work this equation to figure out whether or not something is appropriate for an event, for the place that you're going, for the day that you are getting dressed for? Well, you have to take those first 8 factors, and I've listed them here, and you consider all of those, but then that 9th factor trumps it all. You see, you cannot ignore your role. I think it's so important to take into consideration things like the weather and the place and the dress code that may or may not have been delivered to you, the activity and what will be going on and who will be there, what the culture is, what's the norm. But after all of those things, you really do have to calculate in your role. So the final thing that we need to do, though, after considering those 8 things and then factoring in your role in the situation, is to determine that you want to be respectful of other people. You know,
Aren't most people anyway all the time? God, I find these fashion videos boring. Do you know, I'd love if somebody like actually put some time and effort in and watched the runway and whatever and said, oh, you know, these are some new clothes that are coming out next year. What do you think? I saw a woman, I can't think of her name, and she was doing, oh, this is what they say will be on trend, you know, glam leather, or sounds like the 70s to me, or something else, something and sequins, and it's like, really? So she's been putting together outfits to go with that because somebody somewhere said that that's what, really? Can't people pick and choose clothes for themselves?
even with my own kids, that's exactly what it all boiled down to. To be appropriate in any given situation meant to think about others and not just yourself. So I think to dress appropriately means to consider all those things: place, event, activity, dress code, my role in the situation, but also other people who will be there. I don't want to make them feel ill at ease. I don't want to make them think that I'm the star of the show. I don't want to wear something that would be too sexually alluring to the male component of the situation. I want to take a...
Really? I think Lisa missed that memo. But so long as you're not tootling around with your tits hanging out and your ass hanging out, mind you, if you want to, go for it. But what are you going to be wearing that's going to be alluring for the men in the place? I would assume places that you're going, it would be mainly couples now, wouldn't it? Or you wouldn't be going. Because you surely wouldn't want to disrespect your husband, would you?
Other people into consideration. We want to wear something that shows due respect to our host, our hostess, the bride and groom, our dinner partner, our friends, the person who is presenting something to our benefit. So let's think about the other people that we're going to be around too when we're thinking about whether or not we are dressing appropriately as we get dressed for our day. So when we talk about dressing appropriately, we're really not talking about a set of rules that will legitimize our outfit.
You've just given a set of rules. So it's not about a set of rules. Right, okay.
We're talking about taking some things into consideration and making a wise choice. Now, in our next week's video, I'm going to talk about how to put together a wardrobe so that we can always be dressed appropriately.
Oh, I can't wait. I'm sorry, I don't understand who died and put them in charge, telling us what we can and we can't wear, and thinking that people over 50 don't know how to dress themselves. What in the hell? Right, I'm going to go and watch some television and get this nonsense out of my head. If you got to the end with me, thank you very much. And I will catch you in the next one.